What really happened behind the scenes of Martin that caused one of the most popular sitcoms of the 90s to come to such an unexpected and dramatic end? On screen, Martin and Gina's relationship seemed unshakable, but off-screen, tensions were boiling over. A lawsuit, on-set conflicts, and a final season filled with awkward workarounds changed everything. In this video, we'll reveal the shocking events, the infamous scenes, and the real reasons Martin was taken off the air at the height of its success. Stay tuned. You won't believe how it all unraveled. The enduring legacy of Martin. Martin is an American television sitcom that aired on Fox for 5 seasons, from August 27, 1992 to May 1, 1997. The series starred Martin Lawrence as the main character, Martin Payne, a Detroit-based radio DJ and later a television personality. Lawrence also played several other recurring characters on the show, showcasing his comedic range. During its run, Martin became one of Fox's highest-rated sitcoms, significantly shaping black representation in American television and influencing popular culture well beyond its original air dates. One of the key aspects of Martin's legacy is its role in improving the visibility of black characters on mainstream television. The show centered on black leads, with Martin Payne as a successful professional and Gina Waters as his equally ambitious girlfriend, later wife. Their relationship offered viewers a positive and balanced portrayal of black love and partnership, which was not commonly featured in sitcoms of that era. In addition to Martin and Gina, the supporting cast included characters like Tommy Strawn, Cole Brown, and Pam James. These characters helped round out a depiction of black friendships and community life that was both relatable and aspirational. The show portrayed black professionals living in an urban setting, focusing on their daily lives, careers, relationships, and humorous situations rather than relying on stereotypes or narratives of struggle. Martin introduced a number of catchphrases and characters that became part of American pop culture. Phrases such as, "You go boy," "Damn, Gina," "Get to steppin'," and "You ain't got no job, man," remain widely recognized today. Lawrence's creation of multiple recurring characters, including Shanana Jenkins, Otis the security guard, Jerome, Roscoe, and others, showcased his versatility and contributed to the show's unique identity. The series also served as a platform for black music artists and athletes. Guest appearances included Snoop Dogg, the notorious B.I.G., Outkast, Tommy Hearns, and Randall Cunningham. This crossover of television, music, and sports helped further solidify the show's relevance within black culture and its broader appeal to diverse audiences. Martin earned numerous nominations and awards during its run, including several NAACP Image Awards. The show won Outstanding Comedy Series, and Martin Lawrence received Outstanding Actor Awards multiple times. Although the show did not receive the same recognition from mainstream award bodies like the Emmys during its original run, its cultural significance has only grown over time. The series entered second-run syndication on August 8, 1995, distributed by Warner Brothers Domestic Television Distribution. It continues to air on networks such as BET, VH1, and MTV2, and is available for streaming on platforms like Netflix. This continued presence reflects its lasting popularity and relevance. Martin played an important role in paving the way for future black-led sitcoms. The show's success demonstrated the commercial viability of black-centered narratives and led networks to invest in similar projects. Sitcoms such as The Bernie Mac Show, Everybody Hates Chris, Blackish, and Insecure owe part of their existence to the trail blazed by Martin. The show also contributed to the normalization of black professional success on television. Martin Payne was shown as career-driven, confident, and financially stable, traits that helped counter negative stereotypes about black men in media at the time. Martin's continued relevance is evident in its long-standing syndication, availability on streaming platforms, and its presence in merchandise, trivia games, and pop culture references. The show is frequently cited in discussions about black television history, comedy, and representation. Its characters, humor, and cultural moments continue to inspire creators and audiences alike. Trivia games like Damn Gina and Jerome in the House have been created for fans to celebrate the show's legacy. Apparel featuring quotes and images from the show remains popular, underscoring how its humor and style continue to resonate. Martin holds a significant place in television history as a sitcom that celebrated Black culture, showcased positive Black relationships, and provided a platform for Black talent. The show's influence extends far beyond its original run, impacting the television industry, inspiring new projects, and remaining beloved by fans decades later. The ending of Martin. Although Martin was a ratings success and became a defining sitcom of the 1990s, its abrupt and controversial end after 5 seasons is often cited as one of television's most unfortunate examples of off-screen issues derailing a hit show. However, behind-the-scenes tensions, most prominently a highly publicized sexual harassment lawsuit filed by Tisha Campbell against Martin Lawrence, ultimately led to its premature conclusion. By the 5th season, the working relationship between Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell had deteriorated significantly. The two actors had previously collaborated on the hit film House Party and were widely celebrated for their on-screen chemistry as Martin Payne and Gina Waters, a couple whose ups and downs provided the emotional anchor of the sitcom. But off-screen, their professional relationship had become strained. In November 1996, Campbell left the show and filed a lawsuit accusing Lawrence of repeated and escalating sexual harassment, sexual battery, verbal abuse, and threats to her safety. This legal action sent shockwaves through both the entertainment industry and the show's dedicated fan base, many of whom were unaware of the turmoil behind the scenes. Campbell's allegations detailed a troubling pattern of behavior that, she claimed, intensified after she became engaged to actor Dwayne Martin. She alleged that Lawrence's conduct included unwanted romantic advances and inappropriate physical contact during rehearsals and filming. According to reports from the time, Campbell went so far as to request that the writing team avoid including bedroom or intimate scenes between Martin and Gina, hoping to establish clear professional boundaries. These efforts to manage the situation internally were ultimately unsuccessful, leading to her decision to pursue legal action and remove herself from the increasingly toxic work environment. The lawsuit was widely covered in entertainment media, turning what had been seen as a fun and carefree sitcom into the center of a serious controversy. The situation was particularly jarring for fans who had invested in Martin and Gina's relationship as one of the few positive portrayals of Black love on television at the time. The dissonance between the warmth of their on-screen bond and the allegations of misconduct behind the scenes left many viewers disillusioned. Campbell's absence from the latter part of Season 5 created immediate production challenges. The legal battle eventually ended in an out-of-court settlement, with one of its stipulations being that Campbell and Lawrence would not be required to film scenes together. This condition forced the production team to devise creative but awkward solutions. Episodes featured Martin and Gina in the same storyline but kept them physically apart, relying on editing tricks and separate filming schedules. In scenes where both characters appeared to occupy the same space, body doubles and camera angles were used to mask the fact that the two stars were never actually on set together. This setup disrupted the natural flow of the show and was noticeable to audiences, contributing to a sense that the series had lost its spark. The impact on storytelling was significant. The Martin-Gina relationship, once central to the show's charm, was sidelined. Plots that might have focused on their marriage or joint adventures were replaced with disjointed scenarios where they operated independently or communicated indirectly. The shift was particularly disappointing to fans who had celebrated the show for offering one of television's few depictions of a loving, ambitious Black couple. What had once been a strength became a glaring absence, leaving the final episodes feeling hollow compared to earlier seasons. Martin Lawrence, who was also an executive producer on Martin, later spoke about the circumstances that led to the show's end. In a 2020 interview with GQ, Lawrence denied the allegations, calling them a lot of bullshit. He stated that the show wasn't canceled, but that he chose to leave, explaining, "It just was time to end. Let's just put it that way. At that time, there were some things that were being said that none of that was true." His comments suggested that he saw the situation as unresolvable and opted to step away rather than continue under strained conditions. While his remarks reflected his perspective, they did little to address or heal the rift that had deeply affected the cast and production. Supporting cast members have also reflected on the difficult final season. Carl Anthony Payne II, who portrayed Cole Brown, has remarked in interviews that while every working environment has its share of challenges, the tensions on Martin were unusually severe. He noted that the production leadership may have prioritized hitting the 100-episode threshold required for syndication over addressing the worsening relationships among the cast. This focus on completing the season, despite clear signs of dysfunction, contributed to an environment where problems festered rather than being resolved. Payne has described the situation as one that could have been handled differently, perhaps preserving both the integrity of the show and the well-being of its cast members. Season 5 of Martin is now often remembered as a bittersweet chapter in the show's history, a time when the cracks behind the scenes became visible on screen. What should have been a triumphant finale for a groundbreaking sitcom instead became a study in how off-screen conflict can overshadow artistic success. Broader issues for Martin Lawrence. The controversy involving Tisha Campbell and the sexual harassment lawsuit was not an isolated event in Martin Lawrence's life at the time. Rather, it occurred during a period marked by significant personal and professional turmoil for the comedian and actor. As Martin neared its final season, Lawrence's off-screen challenges created an increasingly volatile environment that ultimately impacted the show's atmosphere, its cast, and its eventual conclusion. In the mid-1990s, Martin Lawrence's life began to attract media attention for reasons far beyond his successful career in television and film. His legal troubles, health scares, and reports of erratic behavior made frequent headlines, adding pressure to an already strained production. One of the most serious incidents was his hospitalization following what was widely reported as a drug-induced collapse. In 1996, Lawrence reportedly slipped into a coma after collapsing from heat exhaustion while jogging in heavy clothing in extreme temperatures, allegedly as part of a weight loss regimen. The event was so severe that he had to be placed on a ventilator, and reports at the time indicated that he nearly died. Lawrence himself later described this experience as life-changing, revealing that he had to relearn how to talk and credited his survival to divine intervention. God is great, that there is a God, and to value my life. I want to be here, and to show my kids a positive light, he reflected in interviews years later. At the same time, Lawrence was embroiled in personal legal disputes. His marriage to Patricia Southall, a former beauty queen, had disintegrated in a cloud of allegations and counter-allegations. Southall accused Lawrence of domestic violence, stating that he had threatened her with physical harm, including claims that he threatened to bust her teeth in, and that he pushed her while she was holding their infant daughter. As part of their contentious divorce proceedings, Southall reportedly sought a restraining order against him, adding to the mounting perception that Lawrence's personal life was spiraling out of control. Additionally, Lawrence was facing professional fallout beyond Martin. His behavior had become a cause for concern in the industry. Notably, he was banned from appearing on NBC's Saturday Night Live after an infamous 1994 hosting appearance in which he made explicit, unscripted comments during the live broadcast. The incident damaged his professional reputation at the time and contributed to concerns about his reliability and stability as a performer. Reports of substance abuse also followed Lawrence during this period. While he later acknowledged the toll his fast-paced lifestyle had taken on him, including struggles with exhaustion and stress, he consistently denied that his erratic actions were fueled by drugs. Nevertheless, The combination of health scares, legal battles, and public incidents painted a picture of a star in crisis. Against this backdrop, the lawsuit filed by Tisha Campbell brought additional scrutiny. Campbell accused Lawrence of escalating harassment and inappropriate behavior both on and off set. The lawsuit alleged that his conduct became worse as she pursued her own personal happiness, including after her engagement to actor Duane Martin. She cited groping, lewd remarks, and threatening behavior, which she said created a hostile work environment and left her no choice but to seek legal action. Campbell's lawsuit became one of the defining issues of Martin's final season and overshadowed the show's creative success. Together, these events created a storm that deeply affected not only Lawrence's personal life, but also the dynamic on Martin. The production had to implement significant changes to accommodate the legal restrictions, including filming scenes where Campbell and Lawrence were never on set at the same time. The behind-the-scenes tension filtered into the on-screen product, with fans and critics noting a shift in tone and energy during the show's 5th season. In later interviews, Martin Lawrence consistently expressed regret about how things unfolded during this turbulent period of his life, though he remained adamant that the allegations made against him were untrue. Speaking to GQ in 2020, Lawrence said, "None of that was true. It was all a lot of bullshit. We don't need to talk about something that just didn't happen." He emphasized that he chose to walk away from Martin rather than being forced out or canceled. "People said that I got canceled, but that wasn't the case. I decided to just leave the show." Despite the bitter end to Martin, Lawrence has repeatedly emphasized that he harbors no ill will toward Campbell. Over the years, he has publicly stated, "I have nothing but love for her, and I always have." His words were echoed during the promotional appearances for Martin. The reunion in 2022, where both actors shared that they had reconciled and moved past the painful chapter in their shared history. Campbell herself has said that reconnecting with Lawrence was part of her healing process and that their reunion allowed both to celebrate the positive contributions of the show without dwelling on the controversies that ended it. Reconciliation and reunion. Despite the controversy that marred the final season of Martin and the painful circumstances under which the show ended in 1997, Martin Lawrence and Tisha Campbell have since demonstrated a remarkable capacity for reconciliation and healing. Both actors have openly spoken about the efforts they made to reconnect, with Campbell describing the reunion as an important part of her personal healing journey. In interviews, she has acknowledged the emotional work required to move past their difficult history, emphasizing that the reunion was not just about nostalgia, but about celebrating growth, forgiveness, and shared achievements. Lawrence, for his part, has consistently expressed warmth toward Campbell in recent years, often repeating the sentiment, "I have nothing but love for her." These statements reflect a conscious choice by both to focus on what united them rather than what divided them. The cast's reunion for Martin. The reunion in 2022 was a highly anticipated event that offered fans an opportunity to see the stars together again, reflecting on their time on one of television's most beloved sitcoms. Campbell admitted she was really nervous ahead of the reunion, not because of tension with the cast, but because she hoped the show's legacy would still resonate with fans after so many years. Her nerves proved unfounded, as viewers welcomed the reunion with enthusiasm, praising the cast's chemistry and their ability to pick up where they left off. Their public reconciliation was on full display during the reunion's private screening in Los Angeles, where both actors appeared together and expressed their excitement to honor the late Thomas Mickle Ford, who had played Tommy Strawn on the show. Campbell noted that honoring Ford and celebrating their collective legacy outweighed any negative memories from the past, adding, "Everything else is a personal situation that we've all healed from, so we're not even going to talk about it." Lawrence echoed these sentiments, telling People magazine at the premiere, "It is nothing but love with me and her. It's nothing but love." This attitude of unity and respect extended beyond the reunion special itself. In 2024, the cast appeared together at the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards, presenting an award on stage and sharing a light-hearted moment that highlighted their enduring bond. Carl Anthony Payne II even joked about thinking they were there to finally accept the Emmy they had long deserved, prompting Tisha Campbell to humorously agree, earning applause from the audience. The Emmy reunion, like the reunion special, underscored that despite past challenges, the cast had come full circle, now able to publicly celebrate their shared success without lingering tension. Campbell and Lawrence's reconciliation was particularly meaningful given the intensity of their former rift. In recent interviews, Campbell has highlighted how the process of reconnecting with Lawrence was deliberate and thoughtful. Speaking to Gayle King, she explained, "We worked really hard to reconnect, to forgive, and this reunion is about a celebration of everything that we did, everything that we accomplished, and our growth as human beings. And so we concentrated mostly on that." The reunion was as much about honoring their journey as it was about entertaining fans. Lawrence, too, has reflected on how blessed he feels, describing how stepping onto the set again and reuniting with his former co-stars was an emotional and meaningful experience. The challenges and possibilities of a Martin movie reboot. The possibility of a Martin movie reboot has been a topic of curiosity and debate among fans and entertainment insiders alike, particularly following the recent surge of nostalgia-driven projects in Hollywood. The renewed interest in the Martin universe was significantly fueled by Martin. The Reunion, a highly rated BET+ special in 2022 that brought the cast back together to reflect on the legacy of the original 1992 to 1997 sitcom. This reunion, combined with the show's lasting popularity on streaming platforms like Netflix, BET+, and Peacock, as well as Martin Lawrence's ongoing prominence in film with projects like Bad Boys, Ride or Die, has sparked discussion about whether a Martin movie could become a reality. However, several factors, both creative and practical, complicate the prospect of such a reboot and raise questions about its feasibility, necessity, and potential reception. From a production standpoint, recent developments show that rather than focusing on a direct Martin movie reboot, efforts have instead pivoted toward expanding the universe through prequels and spin-offs. Young Martin, an hour-long drama series announced in 2024, serves as a contemporary origin story exploring Martin Payne's teenage years in modern-day Detroit. The series, produced by Lawrence's Run-Tell-Dat and Wonder Hill Studios, marks a shift in tone and format, mirroring what was successfully done with Bel-Air, the dramatic reimagining of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Young Martin promises to blend humor with serious themes like family, friendship, ambition, and the challenges of adolescence. A Martin movie reboot would also face significant creative challenges. Martin Lawrence himself has commented in interviews that trying to recapture the magic of the original sitcom might not work. In a 2021 appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Lawrence remarked that Martin was like catching lightning in a bottle, and that it would be difficult to replicate its success. He did, however, express interest in revisiting certain characters, such as Shanina Jenkins, in a standalone film, possibly reviving a long-discussed idea of a movie pairing Shanae with Jamie Foxx's Wanda character from The Jamie Foxx Show. Another critical obstacle is the absence of Thomas Michael Ford, who played Tommy Strawn. Ford passed away in 2016, and his character was widely regarded as an essential part of the show's dynamic. Tisha Campbell, who portrayed Gina Waters-Payne, has been particularly vocal about why a reboot without Ford would feel incomplete. In multiple interviews, including at the 2023 NAACP Image Awards and the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards in 2024, Campbell emphasized that Ford's role was too integral to the series' heart and legacy for the show to continue in any authentic form without him. "I can't see myself doing anything without Tommy. He's too important to us," Campbell said. Further complicating a potential movie reboot is the broader industry context. While nostalgia sells, as evidenced by the success of projects like Bel-Air, not all revivals or reboots have been well received. The animated reboot of Good Times on Netflix, for example, faced intense criticism from fans and cultural commentators who felt it disrespected the legacy of the original series. This has heightened awareness of the risks associated with tampering with beloved properties, particularly those with deep cultural significance in Black television history. Many fans and creators worry that a poorly executed Martin movie reboot could damage the original show's reputation and alienate its loyal audience. Meanwhile, Hollywood's focus on reboots has drawn criticism for stifling original storytelling. As reboots dominate greenlighting decisions, they often crowd out opportunities for new voices and fresh narratives, particularly those from marginalized communities. Figures like Issa Rae, Quinta Brunson, and Cord Jefferson have advocated for more investment in original content that reflects the diversity and complexity of contemporary Black experiences, rather than relying on reimagining past hits. The success of original projects like Abbott Elementary and American Fiction demonstrates that audiences are eager for innovative storytelling that moves beyond nostalgia. There is also a practical business consideration. Rebooting Martin in movie form would entail securing the participation and availability of key cast members, aligning with production schedules, and meeting the high expectations of a multi-generational fan base. Any project would need to strike a delicate balance between honoring the original while offering something new and compelling. No small feat given how iconic the original show has become. That said, the possibility of a Martin movie reboot hasn't been entirely ruled out. Lawrence's openness to revisiting certain characters in a different format leaves the door ajar for creative projects that could appeal to fans without attempting to recreate the sitcom itself. The development of young Martin and Varnell Hill indicates that there is still enthusiasm for exploring the Martin universe, albeit in ways that seek to innovate rather than replicate. Should a Martin-related movie ever move beyond speculation, it would likely take the form of a character spin-off or an inspired-by story rather than a direct continuation of the original narrative. After all the success, laughter, and unforgettable moments, it wasn't ratings or popularity that ended the show, but what happened behind the camera. Now, we want to hear from you. Could a reunion film ever do justice to its legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this video gave you a new perspective on the show's history, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown of television's most talked about moments.